must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
It is ridiculous and it is against the laws of nature that we can have somebody sitting pretty who takes home more money than the credible entrepreneur who is doing actual production of goods and services.
We always say it as it is.
It is only in this country that when a thief is arrested, you hear elders from their tribe saying, "He is our son and he is our thief."
If you are deviant and I call you leader,
Yes.
probably you are already a leader, but you are leading in the wrong direction.
We want to see the role of the youth
Yeah.
in the security,
Yes.
governance,
Yes.
and development.
The youth that I meet and work with here, you know, we call them the millennials and X's and Y's, this and that. They don't necessarily want to live like their fathers and grandfathers, do business like their fathers and grandfathers. They're more independent, they're better educated, and they're the ones that are making everything move in this region.
We look at the issues, we talk about issues that impact people's lives in Africa.
The African peoples themselves continue to cheer bad leaders, and because they cheer them on, they continue to be misled.
Let me ask you, doctor, would you rather be somebody who does not enjoy so much freedom but you are rich?
Yes.
Or you'd rather be poor who you are actually imprisoned by the poverty itself?
My goal is not to come here and say, I want the majority ownership, I want to own this, I want to own that, I want to do this. My goal is we all make money and we're all happy, and I help build a big business here.
Punchline is for Africa, with Africa, from Africa.
Good afternoon, viewers. I want to take a few minutes in the Africa School of Thought. I want to say a few points regarding the situation of the Chief Justice in the Republic of Kenya. The Chief Justice is part of the governance of the people of Kenya. He is one arm of the governance of the Republic of Kenya. The Chief Justice has never convened or tried to convene a meeting between the President, the Speaker of National Assembly, and himself to find out the weakest link in the fight in the governance of the people of Kenya. It is therefore very shameful for the whole Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya to use a platform, external platform, to announce a regime change proceeds using the platforms of international civil society to dismember the government of Republic of Kenya. As a Pan-African, I feel sorry and saddened by the events that are taking place in the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya. The President or the executive has done its best. It has given the funding that is needed to fight corruption. Every time the agencies that fight corruption arrange, indict, and deliver a suspect in the courts of the Republic of Kenya, the same judiciary that the Chief Justice represents, the same judiciary that the Chief Justice says it is very perfect, releases these people, at times on flimsy reasons, blocks the route of justice, obstructs justice. The case of the former Deputy Chief Justice, Lady Mwiru, who was found who should have taken a plea, but because of the problems that the judiciary has and the weaknesses, the incompetences that the judiciary has, the Lady Justice Mwiru was allowed to petition the DCI and DPP's application and a charge. She never took a charge, a plea in the normal courts. Of course, the events are much bigger than what we see today. It is sorry state that the Chief Justice is the one who can mention about the failure, yet the word failure is actually associated with the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya. Everybody in the judiciary knows, every Kenyan, young or old, knows that there is a problem with the Chief Justice. I take one example. For the Chief Justice to talk about the nullified elections, that dynasties collect themselves in kingdoms, in business entrepreneurs win an election, shows to you that he has something that is against the current administration of President Uhuru Kenyatta. I therefore call upon the international community not to listen to the side that actually weakened the fight against corruption in Kenya, but help the Kenyan people to fight corruption. Because the weakest link, which all of us know, is the judiciary in Kenya. If the Chief Justice was pleasing the civil society funders, the NGOs that gathered in Oxford, let them hear this message, that it is him and him alone. It is his incompetency, the lack of direction, the lack of leadership, the poor leadership qualities, the lack of pointing out the mistakes in law. The law itself that the Chief Justice talks about is the one to recommend which type of law. He can also suggest to the other two arms of government that the laws in Kenya surrounding cases of corruption are weak. But as usual, he has been a weakest link, remains a weakest link, who is plotting, who is planning, who is trying to execute a foreign instigated plan against the Jubilee government. Thank you very much, viewers. That is a statement as far as the situation of Kenya is concerned. The Chief Justice, therefore, is plotting a coup, a constitutional coup, because he is trying to blackmail the leadership of the Republic of Kenya. Thank you very much, viewers. God bless you. fellow Africans, I took this petition to the court in order to stop any future usage of falsehood and false documents, procured witnesses of the Waki Commission. I took this petition to the court 4 years ago in order to make sure that the Chief Prosecutor of International Criminal Court does not use this evidence anytime in the future, whether tomorrow or 10 years to come, to refer to this evidence because the evidence was fake. It is with this dismay and with this courage that I took to go to court in Kenya to seek a judicial review and to redeem the credibility of both those accused and the victims of this catastrophe that occurred in Kenya, that I decided to seek to expunge this report from the reports and the statute books of Kenya. It is unfortunate that the 3 judges in Kenya, whom I will name now, Judge Kanyi Kimondo, Judge Aburil, and Judge Onyengo, all of them sat down and gave very silly, flimsy, prudish, sardonic ruling against our petition. I want to tell the Kenyans that I have done my best. I want to be on record that should this thing reappear again, don't call me. Should it reappear again, don't say I never told you. Should the Chief Prosecutor of the International Criminal Court use this fake evidence again against Kenyans, don't say I did not tell you. My role was to go and remove these obnoxious toxins from the books of the Republic of Kenya. I therefore want to tell the world that my torrid road, a long road that I've taken in search for this envelope, has ended in Kenya so far. But I want to announce that Kenya is not the only state party in international law. Kenya is not the only state party. I will in the future, very soon, detail to you which other state party I'm going to seek this envelope to be expunged and to be made public to the people of the world. I want to thank you all. I want to tell you that a detailed document which is entitled My Long Road, Torrid Road to Work Envelope will be found on www.panafricanforumltd.com. You can read it, you can dissect, you can see the days, the long road, what I took, what I did, referenced, well documented, and may God help you that at one time somebody in Kenya will stand up to say thank you very much. Africans, every time we are challenged on matters of importance, there is always a path for redemption. The only thing that Kenya needs at the moment is redemption. It's a redemption strategy that can create a coexistence of all the people, all the tribes, all regions, and all shades of opinions. Challenges come at an hour where a country is on a test. Test runs are always the most crucial points. That's where experiments collapse. Kenya is not an experiment. Kenya is a nation that has existed for 56 years. The challenges, therefore, should not make us hate each other. These challenges should unite us, should unite the people of Kenya to push forward an agenda, to follow their president, President Uhuru Kenyatta, in delivering the agenda for a better Kenya. A better Kenya will produce a better East Africa. A better East Africa will produce a better Africa. The challenges, the obstacles that come amongst us are many, but we can overcome them through discussion, a wider range of discussion, wider disagreements to agree and disagree, to agree again and disagree to disagree. But we should not form clubs, units, militias, hatred of that nature that can take us to the history. Germany today is Germany because it doesn't want to go to the path of the history. Germany goes to the path of development. Over 70 years ago, Germany was at war with the entire world. Today, it is on the path of resolving some of the problems that come. I want us to stand in the place of Germany and look forward and backwards. See what we can do here, but not yearn for what is in Rome. What is in Rome is safeguarded, but in Sicily, which is Kenya, we need to build a foundation for the younger generation that we are going to live here today. The many who have no employment, the poverty, the ignorance, the diseases that kill the people of Africa. We need to find a modium of operation. Modus operandi. The only modus operandi on this is a united, peaceful Kenya. A Kenya united by values of respect and adherence to the rule of law. A Kenya without schemes of elimination or fiction of elimination or murders written by themselves. A Kenya without any hatred against the president. A Kenya that supports the constitutional roots that the 2010 constitution of yours brought. That is how Africa will rise and shine again. Thank you. I want to call upon the people of Ambazonia today, wherever you are in the diaspora in Ambazonia itself, that in a struggle you are bound to have divisions. But divisions should not divert you from the main focus, the main challenge. We have struggled to expose the happenings, the human rights abuses in Ambazonia. The army has killed hundreds and hundreds of thousands, burnt houses of people, internet was cut off, schools were closed, dispensaries, hospitals were burnt down. Ambazonians should not be intimidated by Paul Robia. It is not upon the leaders of Ambazonia, because I am not from Ambazonia, but I've played a pivotal role in making sure that I loud out the voices, I put out the call, I call upon AU, EU, United Nations, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International. Many of them have listened to some of the things that I say here, and they have come at last. America, United States of America, is slowly moving towards giving the Ambazonian people the dignity they deserve. I therefore call upon the leaders and the leadership of the Ambazonian people to unite for a purpose. The unity of purpose is paramount, as opposed to disunity, which has nothing but only produces ego that we have seen in South Sudan. What has killed South Sudan is not because they don't have the money, the minerals, the resources. Is ego between Riek Machar and the Salva Kiir. We would not like to see that ego come to the people of Ambazonia, the leadership of Ambazonia. I call upon Samuel Sako, Akanga, Milan, and Eko to unite and talk with one voice on international scene that will bring about the peace, the tranquility that you yearn for since 1961, when the resolution 1608 was abandoned by the United Nations General Assembly and Ambazonia was annexed by the Cameroon government by then. I call upon you, my brothers, to pick up the unity call and free your people without disintegration. Thank you. Good morning, viewers. Welcome to Punchline Africa TV, broadcasting all the way from Nairobi, the Republic of Kenya, live from Mombasa headquarters and the satellite system in Berlin. Good morning, wherever you are in South Africa, in Mozambique, in Maputo, in Dar es Salaam, in Juba, in Kigali, in Kampala, in Accra, in Lagos, in Rabat, Morocco. We are coming for the African Games. We are on the way in Tripoli, in Cairo, in Jamena, in Democratic Republic of Congo, Kinshasa. Good morning. Good morning wherever you are in Ambazonia, down in the tropics of West Africa. Good morning in Lagos. Good morning in Abuja. Good morning in Khartoum. Thank you. Well done. Good morning. Thank you very much, viewers, brothers and sisters. Good morning. Good morning in Africa, in the sense that we all matter. And thank you very much. Good morning in Nairobi, Kenya. Our topic this morning is on the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya. The first part will involve, from now up to the top of the hour, we shall be discussing the Kenyan judiciary. Is the Chief Justice fit to be in the judiciary? With all these things that have happened, with all the shortcomings that we see, what can we do to make sure that the Chief Justice understands that things are not as good as he thinks? I want to take this opportunity to thank judicial officers who have actually taken a stand, who are working together with the people of Africa, the people of Kenya, to make sure that they help the government to fight corruption. But corruption in the courts cannot go away. Corruption in the courts can only go away if, one, the Chief Justice of Republic of Kenya can know the direction, can be able to understand what the court wants and what the court does not want. It looks like we are not able to stand the test of times in the courts. The courts in Kenya have collapsed. The courts in Kenya are full of corrupt, both defense lawyers and the judicial officers. All of the judicial officers in the courts have no direction. There is no direction for how to run these courts. Therefore, the question this morning is the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya. What do you think about the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya? Should he resign and leave now? Yes. Why the Chief Justice should quit? I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much for all those who have contributed to this debate. For those who want to contribute to this debate, you are welcome. But I want to take this opportunity to lay down and to thank people who have tried and given us the insight of what it is in the courts of Kenya. This morning, while writing and reproducing an article by one Mr. Rusk, who wrote and detailed similar to my views, I discovered quite a lot of things that had not gone well in the courts of Kenya. And one of the things that I discovered, why the Kenya's Chief Justice must go. Reason number one, the Chief Justice, Maraga, is ineffective, incompetent, not able to make sure that this court runs as a smooth court of the judiciary. The Chief Justice, Maraga judiciary has allowed himself to be marooned by most corrupt and self-serving judges. Some of them are lawyers in the public record. Two, the Chief Justice himself, he has become a tool of the same corrupt judges who engineer schemes for the promotion of their cohorts to higher stations in the Court of Appeal and High Court, further entrenching the roots of the vice of the prestigious professions responsible for dispensation of justice. Three, he has made himself an obstacle, a very serious obstacle of good administration within a judiciary, now responsible for partly the tribunals, the to-unseated clean judges. Himself has played a part. Look at the question of Ojwang. The Chief Justice saw the evidence. He was not able to see whether this evidence can move on or not. He allowed the evidence to come before the Judicial Service Commission. 5. The Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwiru is similarly very disingenuous, a very dangerous lady, a person who actually has laundered money, works with money launderers, buys property on the letterheads of the judiciary. He's still in the judiciary. Nobody has actually looked at that aspect, that you have tainted the Supreme Court. 6, it stops being a matter of a pride to defend a colleague adversely mentioned. If a colleague has been adversely mentioned in trial, in corruption charges, whether alleged or true or not true, step aside. What is Philomena Meru doing in the court? What is she doing in Mombasa today? What is she doing in Mombasa? What credibility does Philomena Mwena bring to the court of this country? What is she trying to achieve in the court? What can she bring to the court of the Supreme Court of Kenya, which we cannot see now? She's tainted. Even if she clears her name through the court, you cannot come and sentence people on the same offenses that you are charged with. Step aside. That has not happened. Number 7, innocent Chief Justice would have expeditiously found a way to resolve the matter to clean the whole judiciary and clear the deputy exactly. Even a short of trial to acquit, this corner of East Africa has seen its fair share of those who encourage impunity. But the point I am raising, that I'm refusing to understand, why a human being would be indicted on very serious, heinous crimes, like the crimes against the Money Laundering Act, using the letterhead of the Chief Justice Office to obtain loans from a corrupt bank, from money launderers whose agency has been actually cited as a terrorist organization in Uganda. And still the lady is still hanging on as the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya. It is very shameful for us. Furthermore, Maraga should stop protecting bribe-taking judges. Those who have taken judges, tell them to leave. And 12, Maraga, you see the Acacia, Maraga came out and told us, no, all those are lies. Anybody talking about the judges in Kenya is a liar. The judges are as clean as Emperor Julius Caesar's wife. They are very good. There is no cocaine that has been sold in Kenya. No Acacia, no person, no judicial officer has taken part in bribes as far as the Acacia case is concerned. Today, it is now a different story. A Chief Justice who can lie, and he has taken oath never to lie, to tell us that there was nobody in the court who was compromised. No judge was compromised. Bring it on. Put this on. Fred, bring that chart on. I want to show to the Kenyans and to the entire world that there is something which is very wrong in that court. Bring it on. When you look at this, you find a tragedy. This is unbelievable. You see exactly what has happened. You read up that writing, see the facts. Out of all the cases, the Kenyan courts, more than 67% of instances of bribery. This entails defendants of plaintiffs using lawyers to ferry bribes to the judges so as to ensure a favorable outcome. This is on record. The research shows exactly that these things are happening. If you look at what has happened in a situation of the Chief Justice Maraga, you will find that things are not as we might stand here and tell people that things are very good, everything is moving on very well. No, you will find that there is a big problem. A very big problem in the judiciary. In the judiciary, in the sense, look at nowhere to run. Look at another chart. All these are judges of the Supreme Court, of the Court of Kenya. And yet, we were told by the Chief Justice that there was nobody in Kenya who had a problem in the judiciary. Today, as we speak, today, as we stand, we have a pride. We have to defend ourselves, to stick to ourselves, and ask a question, a cardinal question. A Chief Justice who is tainted, a Chief Justice whose name is sung everywhere, a court that is in chaos, a court that needs an American investigator to come and pick the judges. You can't blame the court, the police. You can't blame the police because the police arrest. They took Akasha several times in the courts in Mombasa. They arrested them on drugs. The judges went on releasing them to go and kill more people, injure more people, defile more people, rape more people in the court. The courts had given them sanctuary. So, you see, these are some of the things that have made this court, this honorable court. The Chief Justice Maraga is a failure. The judiciary has never been more openly corrupt than it was. Under Mutunga, there was something that worked and cleaned the court. But right now, we see the danger. We see the difficulties. Why Maraga should quit, step aside. There is a new petition that has come in. There is a lease of the judiciary. There is everything that is wrong with what we can call wrong. The mirror of wrong things are in this judiciary. There is everything that you want to heap on this great court. Thank you very much. And thank you, all of you. You can see for yourselves. I've tried to do my best. I've tried to encourage for the last 2 years, since 2017. I have been on this platform saying the same thing about the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya. I've said corruption can only be fought if the courts are cleaned. I've given my views. Most of you might agree with them. Some might not agree with them. I've done my part as an African. I don't have the powers to send anybody home. The legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta can be held, can be got, if there is cleaning in the Supreme Court and the judiciary. The judiciary plays a vital role, an important role in dissemination and dispensation of justice. But a judiciary that is messed up, that has no way out, is not worth a judiciary. I want to thank you very much for what you have done, for the courage you have given me, for all the stand that you have taken to encourage everybody to support the president in the war against corruption. Thank you very much, and thank you, viewers. I want to read, to go to quickly, to come to the top of the hour. You can, if you want to get more details, you can go to my page, Talking from the Fence. I've reproduced an article there by Mr. Rusk, which has similar views like mine. On my page on Facebook, Talking from the Fence, you can obtain that article and read through and see the reasons as to why we are saying the Chief Justice should leave. I want to thank all of you who have played their roles in courts. I've not said all the judges in Kenya are corrupt. No, they are very, very, very senior officials who are very, very, very competent to run these courts. But they have been misled. They have been let down by an incompetent Chief Justice who has not directed the court in the direction that it should go. The headlines in Kenya, the Daily Nation: cancer vaccine rollout on course despite protests. 2 weeks to start vaccination drive. Doctors affiliated to the Catholic Church release a report voicing safety concerns and questioning age uptake. But the government and its partners say initiative is the best insurance against cervical cancer. Cervical cancer is one of the cancers that kills mostly women, and if there is a way to prevent it, the people of Kenya would be very happy to have it. Judiciary again sued for controversy of a lease. The controversy surrounding the building leased out to the judiciary 7 years ago has come back to haunt Chief Justice David Maraga. A man has filed a petition seeking to have Chief Justice removed from office for failing to constitute a bench to hear a pending lease law. This is, you can find this on page 11. A full petition. How many petitions are those? We have had several petitions where the Chief Justice has been fingered out. Petition filed to remove the Chief Justice. Pending law of a controversial building leased to the judiciary. And it goes further to state that Mr. Obiro, in a petition filed yesterday before the Judicial Service Commission, Mr. Frederick Obiro wants the Chief Justice removed from office, saying he failed to constitute a bench to hear and determine the pending lease law. In his suit, the documents, Mr. Obiro claims that despite the dispute has been pending in the court since 2016, when President Maraga was actually brought in as the Chief Justice. For almost 3 years, nothing has happened in the court. No bench has been constituted. That actually destroys justice. So let's see. There are many other people who are looking at this as a very dangerous move that could torpedo our justice system if the Chief Justice does not obey the orders and the rules that are there. Controversy now surrounds 27 farms, including one linked to the family of Joho. The company is given 900-acre railway land. You know, the railway land was one of the biggest chunks of land in Africa or East Africa that everybody wanted to take a piece. There are so many people who have appeared in court. Previously, some of them grabbed it. Some have been, returned it. There are so many people. The company is given 900-acre railway. The EEC to grid top Kenya Railways boss over the suspicious allocations of railway land. This is a very good move by Twalib to get the situation worked on. Another thing that is a headline is, I kept Linturi in a hotel to save Waiguru. I don't know whether this is true, but if it is to save Waiguru from an impeachment, then I don't know why it has dragged itself in court. Viewers, farms allocated railway land, we have a list on page 5. The Prime Group Bridge, Athi River Freight Terminal, Mombasa Island Terminal, Buzeki Enterprises. All these farms, Kipevu, Boss Freight, Palms Freight, Freight Forwarders, Makupa Transit, Gutale, South Shore International, Athi River Freight, Aya Traders, Autoports Freight, that is yes, that is linked to the governor of Mombasa. So people have just been dividing the land the way they want, railway land. So investigations are beginning to see what really took place. The state agency, I can see my friend Lempa Sunyaika here, although we don't agree on certain things on ICC, we did not agree. He was against me on the question of ICC for me advocating for the president and the deputy president and the Ocampo 6. Mr. Lampa, a city lawyer, he was an activist who wanted these people to be jailed, but I stood firm and I said what I was supposed to say. There are people that I fingered out and I will continue to finger them out. And I will say it. I'm writing my book now. Every time I retire in the morning between 4 and 5, I write a chapter. So you'll wait for my book to appear and come in existence. Then you'll know the type of, the long journey, the hazardous journey that I took to defend the Ocampo 6 in Kenya. That book will be very interesting for everybody to know. There are those who opposed this move, but God did not oppose the move. God gave me the courage. God gave me the strength. God gave me the encouragement to land myself in hot waters of international agency of judicial systems. And that here we are. I am in it, and I will be in it. Thank you very much. This is the top of the hour. We have a few minutes left. I want to look at Nat Top Brass plots to kick out Soshoni. Kenya tops the world's law of the jungle list. It goes again to the judiciary. The judiciary in Kenya has played a part for Kenya to be placed 121 out of 126 in the law of impunity. People not taking seriously the question of judiciary. We have lost it. We now see the difficulties, the benefits coming. If you look at this and then compare where Kenya was in the terms of Mutunga, impunity sees Kenya rank poorly in the rule of law index. You know, open government, absence of corruption, plenty of corruption in all institutions of judiciary. The problem that Kenya has, and the problem that Kenya must sort out, is the judicial criminal justice system. The criminal justice system of Kenya, where you arrest a person on Friday, bring him on court on Monday, release the Monday afternoon, goes back to eat the money that he has stolen. That criminal justice system must change. The MPs and the people who are talking about punguza what, muzigo, or ongeza muzigo, that's your problem. But this is where every country in the world is trying to look at, should I change? Should I change the whole factor? Why should I have a person who has stolen money from. How many people in Kenya remember the thieves that dug a tunnel in Thika in KCB Bank? How many people? It was a miraculous thing to dig a tunnel and draw the money out. But how many people remember this? All of us have forgotten. So these thieves might have gone back now to draw the same money. The thieves have taken the same money. They are drawing the same money. They are eating the same money. They are digging more trenches inside. And that is what is happening in Africa. That is why you see the impunity ranking of Kenya. The judges gave these people even a walk-free ticket home. That's the center. That's the device, the type of information that has killed Africa. Kenya needs a judicial service system that can help, that can bring back sanity, that can engage the public. The criminal justice system perhaps could help. The Chief Justice could step aside and we get a new Chief Justice who can think of overhauling the entire judicial system in his own effort to make sure that the judges no longer receive bribes from their defense lawyers. They don't fix cases. The cases in Kenya from the coup that Maraga made against the Jubilee government. Maraga has never been happy with this government. The best thing is Maraga, pack your goods, leave them. But if President Uhuru Kenyatta, to protect the legacy, if he wants the legacy to go on, as much as we all want the legacy to remain, if you live without cleaning the corrupt courts, you would have done a disservice to Kenyans. Thank you very much. God bless you. Just tune in for the next program on MATSANGA Africa Perspective. Coming in next after the break is a new program of MATSANGA Africa Perspective. This morning, we shall look at Cameroon, Ambazonia. We shall look at the jailing of the 10 freedom fighters who have been jailed at 5:38 in the morning. I have never seen a court in life in Africa that sits at 5 a.m. to sentence people to life. That is what is coming in. That is what is going on. That is the stand that I'm going to take. Coming next is MATSANGA Africa Perspective. In this show, I'm going to bring out the historical importance of why Ambazonia, why these men, 10 of them, have been taken to sacrifice altar of Paul Robia. Don't go away. Keep it coming. Let it come. Continue watching. This is Punchline Africa TV, broadcasting all the way from the satellite in Berlin, in Mombasa, in our offices, headquarters, and in South Africa, and in Nairobi. We now pick direct from different, satellite systems. Thank you very much, those in Harare. And this afternoon at 4 p.m., we shall look at the Democratic Republic of Congo. Democratic Republic of Congo, of Tshisekedi, Kabila, the mess in DRC Congo since elections is what we are going to look at. Keep watching. Is America and France again interfering in Congo? Don't go away. 4 p.m. we are on dot. Today we shall give you the menu. And keep on supporting us. Keep on enjoying. We need adverts in order to survive. Thank you very much. Send us adverts. Our adverts go as far as $20, $200 per advert. If you want to advertise your business to international community throughout East Africa, throughout regional situation in Zimbabwe, anywhere, give it to us. We are the television that can actually run these adverts as much as $200 only. We take adverts for $200 and we shall run them of 1.5 to 2 minutes adverts of your company. You do your logo, send it to us, we shall do it for you. Thank you very much, viewers, and God bless you. God bless all of you. Don't go away. Just wait for Matsanga Africa Perspective. I want to call upon the people of Ambazonia today, wherever you are in the diaspora, in Ambazonia itself, that in a struggle you are bound to have divisions. But divisions should not divert you from the main focus, the main challenge. We have struggled to expose the happenings, the human rights abuses in Ambazonia. The army has killed hundreds and hundreds of thousands, burnt houses of people, internet was cut off, schools were closed, dispensaries, hospitals were burnt down. Ambazonians should not be intimidated by Paul Robia. It is not upon the leaders of Ambazonia, because I am not from Ambazonia, but I've played a pivotal role in making sure that I loud out the voices, I put out the call, I call upon AU, EU, United Nations, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International. Many of them have listened to some of the things that I say here, and they have come at last. America, United States of America, is slowly moving towards giving the Ambazonian people the dignity they deserve. I therefore call upon the leaders and the leadership of the Ambazonian people to unite for a purpose. The unity of purpose is paramount, as opposed to disunity, which has nothing but only produces ego that we have seen in South Sudan. What has killed South Sudan is not because they don't have the money, the minerals, the resources. Is ego between Riek Machar and Salva Kiir. We would not like to see that ego come to the people of Ambazonia, the leadership of Ambazonia. I call upon Samuel Sako, Akanga, Miran, and Eko to unite and talk with one voice on international scene that will bring about the peace, the tranquility that you yearn for since 1961, when the resolution 1608 was abandoned by the United Nations General Assembly and Ambazonia was annexed by the Cameroon government by then. I call upon you, my brothers, to pick up the unity call and free your people without disintegration. Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome to our show. It is exactly 90 minutes past 12 East African Standard Time. This show is MATSANGA Africa Perspective. In this show, I will have two parts. Today is a sad day for me in Africa. It's a sad day in the sense that as a Pan-African, 4 years ago or 3 years ago, I embarked on the exercise of telling the world about Ambazonia. The happenings in Cameroon, the killings in Cameroon, the slaughter of the Ambazonian English-speaking people in Cameroon, the difficulties of this nation called Cameroon under President Paul Biya. I started on a long journey to bring out the human rights abuses that had crippled Cameroon. I started out standing firm as an African, that Africa cannot have one part of it being injured, and we call ourselves Africans, continue to call ourselves Africans. We cannot endure the suffering of the people of Ambazonia, the torture, the defilement, the rape of women and men, the slaughter of men and women, the young, the old, the poor, the women, the children, the girls, the men, the youths that have been slaughtered, their throats cut open and dragged on motor vehicles, tied behind the cars, rolled through the towns of Ambazonia and the towns of Bua. The suffering that every human being in the world watches in the videos. The raw videos that come from Ambazonia, the torture by the government of your wounded troops under the auspices of the French hegemony, that has pained me and pained many Africans as we watch Cameroon descend into chaos. 16 Resolution 1608 of the United Nations General Assembly gave way for two states to be formed. This resolution in 1961 mandated Nigeria and other states to bring back this resolution to the Security Council, to give mandate to the United Nations Security Council to create a two-state parallel with its own state solution. A two-state solution in Cameroon would have solved the problem that we see today that is taking place, where 10 innocent men who simply were voicing their protest about the closure of courts, about the forcing people to speak French, about going to court to speak French and all courts to turn into French speaking, forcing schools to teach French, closing schools because there was no French lessons being taught. That is what brought the chaos that we see today. 3 years ago, I embarked on this journey to expose the malaise, the rot in Paul Biya's 38 years of power. Remember, children who were born 38 years still have one president called Paul Biya at 89 years, still hanging on to power, making sure that he kills in order to hang on to power. Today, I am not alone. Today, I have exposed this issue to the international community, to the Commonwealth, to the United Nations, to the African Union. Surprisingly, the African Union itself does not discuss Cameroon. Surprisingly, the African Union has deployed a tactic of wait and see while Cameroon is dying. Surprisingly, the chairperson of the African Union has become a conduit that destroys the people of Ambazonia, and he doesn't want to bring it on the table of the people of African Union. African Union heads of state arrive in Addis Ababa, in other capitals of Africa, but they never mention the conflict of Ambazonia. It has grown and grown, and now it's big. It has grown to the level that you wake up, you sentence people the whole night, you put them in a military barracks, get court martials, sentence them at 538 for life. No parole, no amnesty, and slam them with a bill of 250 billion francs. You have devastated the human nature that is in any of our living humans. It is sad, therefore, that the African Union watches over the dismembering of Cameroon, the killing of the people of Ambazonia, and there is no word from the African Union. One wonders, are we in African Union or are we against African Union? Are we part of African Union or African Union is captured by France? I have made my stand very clear that France has captured African Union leadership. If you see Djibouti voting in favor, or Somalia voting in favor of Djibouti, that is the trend that is going to take place in French-speaking countries all over when Kenya goes for the United Nations Security Council slot. We have been divided in African Union. We don't have a single voice. The single voice has disappeared. We have voices coming from English-speaking and French-speaking countries. We lie ourselves in these cocoons, in these cupboards, in these corners, and we allow the enemy to use us as proxies to fight fellow Africans. It is indeed a shame for Africa to sit and watch Cameroon disintegrate, Ambazonians being killed in thousands and thousands, millions displaced, no food, no medicine, no clothing, no hospitals working, no schools. You can imagine a whole population of millions and millions of people, and the children have not gone to school for 3 years. You can imagine what type of Africa we have. You can imagine what type of country we have, what nation, what organization of ECOWAS, what organization of SADC, East Africa, AU, what do we have? What organization is this when children for 3 years who should have a basic need of education have not got education at all in Cameroon? Because Paul Biya prefers other people to speak French, to eat frogs, other than sending these children who have been denied the legal right, the fundamental right of education, access to education for a future generation. You can imagine what Cameroon will look like 20 years ago when Pierre has died in Paris. Look at the Cameroon that we want. Look at the Ambazonia that we want. 45 years to come, 20 years to come, there will be no children who went to school. These children in Ambazonia have never seen a school. They have never gone to any school. They are in bushes. Some are being defiled by soldiers of Cameroon army. They defile the mother, they defile the child, they defile the boys, the women, the girls, when the mothers are watching. They slaughter people. They burn houses. I have photographs and photographs coming directly from Cameroon, which I cannot display on this television. It is very pathetic. It is time that Africa wakes up, stands up, talks about Cameroon, Ambazonia. What is happening in the tropics of West Africa is deplorable. The world must stand up. I want to thank America for standing up to recognize and to withdraw military aid from the Cameroonian army and the government. I want to thank Trump for the first time, however bad he is. He has tried to bring this problem to the light. I want to thank all the people who have listened to my voice. For the last 3 years from Nairobi, I have been saying the truth, the killings, the murder, the burnings, the rape, the displacement, the hunger, the natural catastrophes that follow with hunger. In Christmas, people eat food from forests. I want to thank all of you for having supported me. I'm a volunteer who has never got a penny from any of the people of Ambazonia to support them. I stand and I pay and I use my money to advocate for the people of Ambazonia. I would rather go die poor, remain poor, than to have money when people are dying in Ambazonia. I rather die and remain poor than to have people dying in Somalia. I rather expose it and I rather talk about it. I have never in my life seen the type of suffering that is going on in Ambazonia, and yet the world is keeping quiet, and yet Mr. Mohamed Faki, the chairperson of African Union, does not put pressure on the African Union to bring a debate to discuss Ambazonia. I have never seen the plight of children who have never gone to school. I have children who have grown up as refugees in 8 settled countries. I have children who grew up as refugees like myself. My fight is for those refugees. My fight is to stand with those refugees. My fight is to stand with those mothers whose children are being raped in their presence. Time has come for us to talk, not to wear suits and go to African Union and tell us we have a perfume, yet we have no perfume and people are dying in Cameroon. Time has come. Time has come to speak the truth. Mr. Paul Obier, you have sent mercenaries to destroy the people of Ambazonia. You must be censored. Africa must start censoring bad leaders. Leadership of this nature destroys Africa. The image of Africa is tainted because of this bad leadership. You can't defend bad leadership. You can't enjoy, you can't laugh, you can't be proud when you arrive at Heathrow Airport, when people are sleeping hungry, when people are being raped in front of their mothers, when people are being destroyed in front of everything, property destroyed, burned, houses killed, destroyed by the Republic, the army of Paul Biya. I feel angered. I cry tears as I see children of Ambazonia never having any education in the next 10 years. They are still running in the bushes. They are being abducted. Those who are abducted are killed. Some are shot, destroyed property. This is the Africa we have. This is the Africa because nobody speaks for Africa. Everybody comes up to speak for Africa for money. Strife Masiwa speaks for money. He moves around for money. Yet Zimbabwe is dying and Strife Masiwa wears suits to go around Africa to tell us about what he can do on social media. Stupid. You see that? You see the type of Africans we have? The Dagote wears suits and goes around to publish all his money on CNN. But Dagote cannot promote a station in Africa. If Dangote put money in one of the television stations in Africa, he wouldn't advertise on CNN at all. CNN does not consume Dangote's goods. CNN does not consume Dangote's cement. The cement builds Africa. Why do you advertise it on CNN? This is the Africans we have. This is the Africa we have. We see another Africa called Mohammed. The Mo Foundation. It gives money to already people who have got money. I don't see any project that Mohammed of Egypt or from Sudan or wherever he comes from, where he gives money to problems where Africa needs. This is the type of where Africa needs. The leaders who are given the $5 million for what? If you have accumulated 10 years, you have ruled, you need $5 million? Misplaced priorities. I see an Africa. Surely look at Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is reeling, dying today. They don't have fuel, they don't have power. Strife Masiwa is the richest man in Africa, one of the 3 or 4. He can't even donate one piece of his money to pay salaries for 6 months. Yet he has the money. And he goes around here, Kenya, everywhere, preaching to people how he can develop to change. What change? It's Strive Masiwa. Look at that. These Africans who have money. They made money. But what is the money for? Does this money help Africa? Look at the seriousness of the people of Ambazonia. I'm not an Ambazonian myself. I belong to the school of thought that stands for Ambazonia, that stands for Biafra, that looks at what is going on in Ghana, in Nigeria, the Boko Haram killers who are slaughtering people in Nigeria. Next week or weeks to come, I'm going to profile, my journalists will be in those areas to profile exactly what is taking place in Nigeria. We shall encourage the government of Nigeria to make sure that they neutralize the Boko Haram menace that we see that is destroying the people of Nigeria. We shall look at the Nigerian problem. But for now, the situation in Cameroon, the jailing of 10 people, freedom fighters, their reason was very simple. They just wanted an agreement to bring a state to go back to resolution 1608 of 1961. What does it say? Give a 2-state. That's it. Give independence to Ambazonia. They have suffered. They have been jailed for life. They cannot see light again. In a military style of court, not a court of international justice. There was no justice that was dispensed at night. The whole night people were put in barracks, sentenced to life, and Africa is smiling. We are going on doing things as if nothing has happened in Cameroon. I want to take this opportunity to thank the people of Africa again, that I will not keep quiet. I will not keep quiet until Ambazonia gets independence. I will not keep quiet until Ambazonian plight, the plight of the people of Ambazonia, is recognized. If we are able to recognize Kosovo, why are you recognizing, failing to see the plight, the same plight? This is an army killing their own people. This is an army that is separate. You see the problems of Cameroon is French versus English. It is very clear. It will never go away. One part of Cameroon speaks English. The other part speaks French. The French government should work out a modus operandi to finish the war. They can separate the 2 states so that they go home. The marriage is sour. There is no way Ambazonia will ever be Yaoundé. And no way Yaoundé will ever be Ambazonia. That's the truth. You can go to hell, you can go to heaven, you can go to the waiting room near God, but that is going to happen. It won't be there. Those two cannot be together. We have to agree. We have to agree. The problem is so sharp in Cameroon that even if you want to be an African integrator like me, you fail to see how you will integrate the two states with a bad leader like a Paul Biya. It's impossible. Viewers, I just want to bring to the end by reading a statement that came out. Mr. Sisiku Ayuk Tabe, we commonly call him Tabe, and a Ko yesterday were sentenced to life in prison. It is sad. Their lawyer came and said, it is over. We have tried, it is over. Their lawyer left me in tears. In the morning when he sent me a message to tell me that these guys had been sentenced and there was nothing else that we could do. Today, I call it a Black Tuesday yesterday. And a press release released last night or yesterday morning said, let the entire world, and this is something you must remember, let the entire world remember and be informed that at exactly 5:38, mark the time, and the hashtag 5:38 a.m. on Tuesday, August 20th, the year of our Lord 2019, the military and the authorities of Yaoundé sentenced Mr. Sisiku Tabe together with other 9 people, slammed them with a life sentence and with a fine of 250 billion francs to pay in a military tribunal in Yaoundé. It is that has hurt me most. That why did Biya decide to sentence people at night? It's the fear of the people of the recrimination that will happen, because if you do in a normal court, it means there is a problem that is coming from this situation. There is a problem that is bringing chaos. There is a problem that kills, destroys the same people. It is sad that this has happened in a country in Africa, and we keep quiet about what is happening at all. Fellow Africans, today marks the beginning of a long march to liberate Ambazonia from the hands of fascism, to liberate and free the 10 brothers who should be given a fair trial in a court of justice. Cameroon is not a military Congo. Cameroon is a country that has courts, civil courts, These gentlemen were civilians who should have been taken through the courts that could make a judgment with well-represented lawyers. They were not given ample time to defend themselves. No defense was accepted. They slammed them with life sentence. Let the world take a hashtag. Hashtag 538, 5.38 a.m. Remember that time when a military works out at night and sentences people. Thank you very much, viewers. Thank you. I just now want to make a short clip. For more than 3 years, fellow Ambazonians and fellow Africans, for more than 3 years, I have stood high. I have walked the valleys. I've walked the mountains of Africa, trying to bring about the plight, to expose the plight of the people of Ambazonia. I've tried since the insurgency, since the killings started 3 years ago, the closure of schools, the closure of courts, the closure of hospitals, dispensaries, the destruction of infrastructure, the cutting off of telephones and internet supply to the people of Ambazonia. I have stood high amongst the people of Africa to fight for the restoration of the rights of the people of Ambazonia. Yesterday was yet another darker day for the imprisonment of 10 Ambazonians who stood for peace, who talked for peace, who wanted to be heard, who wanted dialogue, and were ready to put dialogue down as a basis of discussion to bring about a peaceful end to the conflict of Ambazonia in Cameroon. For these 3 years, I've called upon the international community, upon African Union, to bring a debate to the table of the African heads of state about the suffering of the people of Ambazonia. I have done it voluntarily, walked, traveled to African Union in summits, trying to fight for this debate to be brought on the agenda of African Union summits. I have petitioned the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Baroness Scotland, my friend, in a letter that I dispatched to both the Commonwealth Office of Her Majesty the government in Britain and in the Commonwealth in the fight for the people of Ambazonia. I've done my best. I've interviewed the people on these television stations. I have done my best. I've interviewed various leaders from SACU, from the others, Tapu, from Mr. Hukem. 7 of them have been on my television station. Mr. Kanga, all of them, most of them, and I will continue to do so, to interview most of them who will take part in the fight for the restoration of a state called Ambazonia. I have not, and I will not take any intimidation, neither will I succumb to any pressure from Paul Obia's cohorts and his surrogates who roam around the world distorting the facts about what is happening in Ambazonia. I am not a Cameroonian, I am a Pan-African. A Pan-African who wants a peaceful Africa. An Africa cannot integrate when one part of Africa is being destroyed by a dictator called Paul Biya. It is impossible. Therefore, we call upon the international community, the United States of America, the British government to intervene, to give freedom to the people, the 10 men jailed for life for having asked for dialogue, to speak with the president or the people of Cameroon to find an amicable solution for the people of Ambazonia. I call upon the Commonwealth, the AU, the United Nations, ECOWAS, SADC, East African Community, IGAD, to put pressure on the people of the government of Cameroon to give dialogue a chance in an event. Also call upon Switzerland, which is taking part in making that people negotiate, to now look at this new threat as a threat that can change the dynamics on the ground. The war that has been taken to the people of Ambazonia cannot stop when the basic needs of the people, the suffering of the women, the children who have never gone to school for the last 3 years is not lifted. I want to thank you very much, all of you who have listened to my discussions for the last 3 years, that I will continue doing so until there is a solution found for the people of Ambazonia. Long live the people of Ambazonia. Long live African unity. Thank you.